John Kincade, congratulations, my friend.
What a wonderful, wonderful night it was, DA. And it truly was. And for fans out there who've already seen their team win Super Bowls, guys like Mraz and everything that, and you guys, and you know it too, multiple championships, you know what the feeling is. I always wanted that feeling. Always wanted to see what it was going to feel like. And, man, does it feel really, really good this morning.
Go back to your first Eagles game. When did you start as an Eagles fan?
1975. My uncle Bernie Flynn was an usher at Veterans Stadium, Section 511. So it was right below the idiots. And my Uncle Bern was an usher, and he would bring me in with him to one game a year. And I was allowed to pick a game. And I would get to go to one game with him, and then occasionally I'd get to go with, like, my uncles or something like that when I got a little bit older. So I would pick one game a year, and I would actually just sit on the steps in my uncle's section where he was the usher. And it was awesome. And it's where I fell in love with the team. And there's no team – DA, nothing means anything to me like this team, like the Eagles. The Phillies is great, and the Phillies is a great passion. I love the Phillies. But it's nothing like I felt last night.
So Phillies in 2008, Sixers in 83 doesn't compare to what happened last night.
Not even close. Sixers never would for me because I'm just not as big a devout NBA fan. Baseball's huge for me, but it's nothing like the Eagles because it's been passed down from my grandfather to my father to me, and now to my 14-year-old daughter. And when I came in the house this morning, she was just waiting to, she was getting herself dressed for school. She goes private school. She wears uniform and everything. She had the Eagles bow in her hair. She had some green eyeshadow on, and she was wearing her Eagles, BOGO necklace to go to private school. I said, you better not get a suspension or anything for this. But she was so happy, and she just said, Dad, it happened. And I said to her, you only had to wait till you were 14. I said, you saw it at 14. And last night we were FaceTiming with each other. Her and I, it's like a big father-daughter thing. And we've taken a few dad-daughter trips just each the last 3 seasons, just her and I. We go up from Atlanta, and her and I spend 2 nights together and just hang out, go to an Eagles game and everything. It's like a dad-daughter thing. And we were both crying this morning even when I got home. It's amazing. Absolutely
so
amazing.
Cool, man. John Kincade joins us.
It's great. It's generational.
It really is. John Kincade joins us here on the show. When Wentz goes down to the Rams game, do you feel like the season's over?
Yes. I got to say, I didn't feel like the season was over only because of the fact that it wasn't. Because they already were a playoff team, and it was just a matter of whether they were going to get home field or not. But if you talk about believing that anything like what happened yesterday could happen, absolutely not. It was crushing, absolutely crushing. But then when I saw the Giant game, I said, okay, all they got to do is win one of the last 2, secure home field advantage, and then you never know. Give it a shot. But I still wasn't that confident. Then when I saw the matchups, I kept saying they won Atlanta, and then they'd even have an easier time. So I didn't want the Rams. I didn't want New Orleans. Rams and New Orleans were 2 teams I didn't want to see them face. I thought they would have been the hardest teams for them, and the Rams and New Orleans got taken care of by other teams. So sometimes the dominoes fall, the proper way. And that Falcons team's kicking themselves in the butt this morning because they're thinking we were 2 yards away from beating them.
What's the low moment for you as an Eagles fan where you said, you know what, I'm never going to see a championship?
Chip Kelly. Just a god-awful mess of what he did to that organization and how he gutted it down to, first of all, not the beefy kind of guys who win in the NFC East. Yeah, he was able to do some cosmetic things, offensively. I didn't like how he transformed the roster. I didn't like his whole smoothie nonsense. Just wasn't a fan. And I never thought that Chip Kelly was bought into Philadelphia. He never was one of those type of people. Doug Peterson, from day one, he understood it because he played for the team. He understood it because he was part of the Andy Reid tree. He knew exactly what he was stepping into. He didn't try to reinvent the wheel. He tried to embrace what the city's all about. And he's the most beloved figure. He might be the most beloved figure in the history of sports.
I would have to say that goes down in history as one of the greatest coached Super Bowls ever, right?
It was the most aggressive game plan I've ever seen in a big game from any NFL coach.
Yeah.
If you're talking about with everything on the line, he kept rolling the dice. And I just got back, I was in Vegas for it, so I'm in the sports book at Bellagio watching the entire thing go down. And I'm thinking to myself all weekend long, as a gambler, when I gamble, when I play cards and everything, I'm never ultra aggressive. I'm never just being ultra aggressive. I'm never being crazy. Doug Peterson got crazy yesterday. I mean, he was hitting on 17s. He was doing all kinds of stuff, and somehow it all worked out. It was just it was beautifully executed. But any one of those things goes wrong. If they don't convert that 4th and 1 to Ertz, and the Patriots get the ball on the Eagles' 48. I mean, at that point, Tom Brady's got to go 15, 20 yards just to get in field goal range. A lot of things could have happened that just didn't. So it's a beautiful thing.
What'd you think about the Patriots fans last week basically assuming a win and wanting a blowout? Did you feel totally disrespected?
I thought it was. In fact, our own Andy Gresh. You'll have to check the tweets. I think I retweeted it maybe last night or this morning. Our own Andy Gresh was after I did the Super Bowl special on Saturday from 10 to 2 Eastern time here on the network. And Andy Gresh was waiting to come on the air after me. And he was sending taunting tweets arrogantly, as the New England media does. Arrogantly, he goes, listen to John Kincade trying to convince himself with all these numbers that the Eagles actually have a chance in the Super Bowl. Ha, 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 ha. And I was like, you might want to revisit that, because the Eagles weren't supposed to beat Atlanta, weren't supposed to beat Minnesota, weren't supposed to beat New England. And I predicted every one of them, called them every one, and even said how they would come down. Now, last night's game went totally off the rails, though. I never thought there'd be that kind of scoring. I thought 31-21, something like that. I never expected to be like a crazy game like last night. That was the best football game, especially for people who didn't have a rooting interest in the game, who don't have one dog in the fight. That's as good a theater as you can watch. I mean, that game was back and forth. That was a heavyweight fight.
John, before the opening night against the Chiefs, Comcast in New England, NBC Sports Boston, had 5 Patriots media on the panel to predict what would happen this season. All 5 of them picked the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. 3 of the 5 picked them to go undefeated. Last week, we were in Minneapolis. Every member of the Boston media said, not only will the Patriots win, this will be a blowout. Yep. That's the type of disrespect that city had for you guys.
DA, think about it this way. In what way could any fan base or any set of media make the Philadelphia fan base rootable? They're such insufferable Boston blowhards. They made the Philly media, they made the Philly fans, they made them America's rooting interest. 46 states on that SportsCenter poll were rooting for the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. That says all you need to know about the insufferable blowhards. And I'll tell you this: every one on the Strip, I'm out, trying to take a jog or walk and doing stuff on the Strip, and I'm wearing Eagles gear all weekend, and I'm getting accosted by every Sully and on the hey, how you doing and everything. And so I just started a little thing yesterday morning, and I said, who was the Patriots coach when they were in the Super Bowl in 1986? I said, good. Nice to see you're a new fan. Nice new Patriots hats. Nice bunch of bandwagoners with Brady and Belichick. Can't tell you one thing about the team. Giant fans, guys like Mraz and you guys could tell you history of your franchises. Not in Boston. They're I don't know, watching Cheers reruns or not. I just don't need to hear any of them. I don't need to hear that accent. I don't need to hear any of them about anything from this point on. By the way, much like when you guys won't know the Moldavian Massacre, but that's when Dynasty, the TV show, pretty much ended. Yesterday was the Moldavian Massacre. It's moving on, and Tom Brady is Joan Collins. Let's put it that way. That's it. Alexis, he went down.
So
everybody's going to be Googling Moldavian Massacre now.
So you put the stake in the hearts of the Patriots dynasty, huh?
Yes. I really believe that. But I believe there's a lot of teams that can step in. I believe the Eagles are going to be right there. I believe Atlanta can be right there. I believe the Rams could be a team on the rise. I think there's a lot of suspects for teams that could be jumping up and getting right into that mix. So it's not like anybody has ultra confidence. But, when somebody's overthrown, sort of like a mob war in Philly, when someone's overthrown, the next guy's got to get up there and steal the seat. So for now, the Eagles have the seat. They're going to want to hold it, but there's a lot of teams that are contending. And by the way, that Giants commercial was spectacular last night. Eli Manning He's such an actor. Every year, he does something. He's just so entertaining, and the Giants must keep him now. By the way, you can't let him go.
Yeah.
After that, can't let him go.
John Kincade, an Eagles fan since 1975, feeling redemption, tears of joy. My man, I am so happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Enjoy
buddy.
it. Soak it in, brother. Thanks so much for joining us.
I'm enjoying every minute of it. Thanks, buddy.
Okay.